Today I wanted to talk about Joey and Kaiba, and from Yu-Gi-Oh! The original series. I'm going to do a bit of backdrop, but really this video is me riffing. I have notes, of course. Well, not of course, but I have notes. And I think the premise of Joey and Kaiba, their relationship, and what it's so interesting to me, it's if you've ever known two people who don't get along, and it's probably because they're very similar, I find that to be the situation that with Joey and Kaiba. I mean, hair aside, of course, I really want to set the backdrop to be the four-way between Yugi, Merrick, Joey, and Kaiba as the thing that really helps solidify this thought for me of Joey and Kaiba being similar. And so I'm not really going to summarize it, but as I talk about it, it'll just, it'll be summarized throughout. Really, and I should probably get in the habit of saying this, the one thing that I want to talk about in this video is how Joey and Kaiba are similar. Hopefully everything I say kind of leads to that point. I don't veer off too much. That's why I have notes, really. Okay, so at the beginning of this four-way duel, and this four-way, the idea of it is that Joey, Merrick, Kaiba, Yugi have all advanced in this tournament in the show. And right now they're having the four-way, which will determine how the semifinals and finals will go. Really how the semifinals will go. So the first two losers will play against each other immediately, and the two people who didn't lose, they'll play against each other. And then obviously, because of the way tournaments work, the people who will go to the semifinals will go to the finals, blah, blah, blah. At the beginning of this four-way duel, we get perspective on what each character wants. Lo and behold, Kaiba and Joey want the same thing. Joey wants a piece of Merrick to get revenge for what he did to Mai. Kaiba wants a piece of Yugi because he feels like in order to beat Merrick, he needs both Egyptian god cards. For very different reasons, these two characters want the same thing. And so, if you ever heard about that trope of characters being two sides of the same coin, that's really this kind of similarity space that I think Kaiba and Joey takes up for very different reasons. They want the same outcome from this duel. And then we zoom in, and I'm going to do a bit of a conspiracy theory here, but I'm just going to list a few characteristics of both of these characters that I find to be similar to each other. Kind of like if you're in the first grade or something and they give you a Venn diagram, write what's similar. I always, for those things in school, I'd always write boy and boy, but this one has a little bit more than that. One similarity is that Kaiba has the blue eyes white dragon. Joey has the red eyes black dragon. Once again, it's this mirrored thing. Both of them have siblings, and their goals were to save them during Duelist Kingdom. Joey wanted to get money in order to fund Serenity's surgery because Joey's poor and Kaiba's rich. Joey wanted to get money to fund Serenity's surgery so that she'd be able to see. Mokuba got his soul taken by Pegasus, and Kaiba was there to save him. Interestingly, Yugi ultimately saved them both, and despite this being called one thing, and it's my very first video trying to focus on one thing, we'll get back to Yugi because I got a bit of a bone to pick with his character. I'll be brief, I promise. I can't promise that. Right, and so going back to the idea, the biggest apparent difference is that Kaiba's very rich and Joey isn't, and I'd like to give a warning to all my lactose intolerant reviewers here. Joey is rich in friendship. And I will pause and actually let that sink in. Kaiba is not. And so neither have an interest in being rich in what the other one has. And that's kind of the cheesy point that, that's why I said the whole lactose intolerant thing. Bad joke. Take it, throw it away. Don't click off the video though. And that takes me to my last similarity about the two personalities, and it's the idea that both of them are ridiculously hard workers with a knack for having most situations work out for them pretty well. They're both orphans that have made the most of the situation, both for themselves, but more importantly for their younger siblings who admire them deeply. Both of them are called Big Brother by, Serenity and Mokuba, respectively. So it's in this part of the video that I'm going to cheat the entire premise of my channel. It's called One Thing. We've been focusing on Joey and Kaiba for right now, but I just want to take a time out and talk about Yugi for a second, because I don't think that the King of Game gets enough flack for being as dramatic as he is. You're telling me this is a pharaoh from a gazillion years ago and he's falling on the floor? He's a very emotional character, and you can see that the weight of the world is on his shoulders. He's being annoying in that way that, if you ever had a friend who wants to do something but doesn't know exactly what they want to do, he doesn't know who he wants to fight. We went over the premise of not the premise, but the beginning of the duel, how Joey was certain he wants to face. Kaiba's certain on who he wants to face. Yugi is like indecisive. And so when Kaiba goes to stomp Joey, because part of the dynamic is that Kaiba dislikes Joey, and I think part of it, my ultimate point here that I'm kind of giving away here, is that Kaiba kind of sees the similarities to Joey. He feels threatened to Joey in a way that I don't know if Kaiba can put into words. And I think that's why he hates Joey more than any other character in Yugi's friend group. But going back to Yugi, because I can't hold this point in, it's like Yugi looks at Kaiba after Kaiba goes to attack Joey, and he's like, Kaiba, what you're doing here is wrong. And it's, you know, it's like he's asking him to cancel the tournament. But I think this is in part like Yugi is trying to appeal to Seto Kaiba's morality. Can we just pause and think about that? In about 3 hours from where they're standing right now, Kaiba is going to blow up the island. This man is crazy. He's as crazy as Merrick.
Kaiba! This tournament of yours is far more dangerous than you could ever understand.
What is he babbling about? I know what I need to do to win this tournament, and I've had it planned all along. What the fuck?!
Stop trying to reason with him. You know, you're the king of games, you're so smart and all this stuff, and you're really trying to, like, no, that's not happening. But Yugi is so interesting here because he seems to be scolding Kaiba and protecting Joey. And I want to go back to the point I was making before about how Yugi ends up saving Kaiba's brother Mokuba and Joey's sister Serenity by winning Duelist Kingdom. Here he's scolding Kaiba and protecting Joey. It's almost as if they're children, or at least younger brothers to Yugi. And I think that's another similarity that we see throughout. He doesn't treat anybody else in this way where, you know, when he's upset with Kaiba, he'll, Kaiba, you know, like, why are you talking to another, I was going to say grown man, but like, we're the same age. Stop talking to me like that. Okay, timeout over. So if you watch this far, you finally get my real opinion that Joey and Kaiba are like brothers. Okay, well, you kind of got that part already, but they're so similar, but still despise each other. And I don't really think Joey despises Kaiba, but I have a strong feeling Kaiba despises Joey. And so it might be a big brother, little brother dynamic where Kaiba's the big brother and he feels threatened by Joey's hard work, determination, effort, and his growth as a duelist. You don't find people as similar as your brothers, whether it's by blood or by life. And that hatred sometimes develops between brothers. And as unfortunate as that can be, it could just come from the energy being wrong. Does this guy think he's better than me? I'm totally better than this guy. That's the scale here. Kaiba beats up on Joey later after this whole thing, you know, like the Abridged makes the joke, the battle for bronze. And that's the kind of pick-me-up he has from a devastating, obliterating loss in the semis to Yugi. I guess another thing to include here is that both Kaiba and Joey lose in the semifinals of this tournament, despite wanting their matchup. They both called their pick, and they both lost. Okay, so that's that. That was a ramble of thoughts. I think I'm just going to post it and see how it goes. You know, they always say, like, the first thing of anything is like the first pancake, where it's kind of burnt on both sides. But you serve it anyway. You don't throw out the first pancake. You serve it anyway. You eat it, and even though it tastes a little bit like the pan, like, you eat it. So I'll leave a question because I have done a few YouTube channels in the past and I kind of understand the engagement thing a little bit. So I'll leave a question for anybody who makes it to the end. My question is this: who of the original Yu-Gi-Oh cast would you actually want to be friends with? And why is it Tristan? I just want to reiterate, I'll be doing videos like this, kind of just picking one thing, reacting to it. I don't want to be a Yu-Gi-Oh channel. I don't want to be an anime channel. But if I do Yu-Gi-Oh 3 times in a row or anime for a year, I don't mind. Like, I'm mindful of the algorithm and I have an interest in this channel growing, but my most important interest is really kind of flushing some of these ideas out of my brain so that I can have new ones and better ones and more interesting ones. Yeah, hopefully that clarifies what I'm trying to do here, even though I don't feel like it's entirely clear. I don't know how clear any of this video actually is, but I'm just here to talk about a thing, like one thing, and that's it. That's the name of the channel, I hope. And yeah, I feel like I've done that, so I'm going to stop. Thanks for watching.
How to come to this after all we've been through? Two of a pair, now on opposite sides. From the very start, with honor we've doomed, watched each other's back and we battled with pride. We are closer than brothers, now we have to fight each other, and we trust our fate to the heart of the car.